This is News 4 Nightly on your side.
And we do have some breaking news tonight to start off with. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Hart.
And I'm Shelby Sheehan. We have new information in relation to Sunday's discovery of a body in Spanish Springs. A friend of that man is dead. Washoe County detectives say this second man slit his own throat when they went to his workplace to question him about his friend's death.
Now, it happened early Monday morning around 12:30 a.m. This was at the post office on Vassar Street. Detectives say it's a secured area. They were waiting outside when the man went into a bathroom and cut his own throat with a knife. Other post office workers then let detectives in. Lieutenant Tom Green says the detectives tried to save the man, but he fought back and he died before arriving at Reno.
He's never suspect, and again, they didn't have contact with him until after he'd already cut his throat, and that's when they were admitted into the building. And I praise them because they did a lot to try to save this guy, and unfortunately it didn't happen.
Well, detectives say the two 26-year-olds were very close friends and would often go to the Spanish Springs area on foot or on bikes. Green says Reno police will be taking over this new investigation. At this time, neither of the men's names is being released, but that could change as these investigations continue. We will keep you posted on the latest. While officers say they aren't looking for any suspects, they still urge anyone who may have seen anything, this was out in the Spanish Springs area on Sunday, to come forward and let them know. We have some more breaking news to report tonight. Secret Service is investigating an envelope received at the White House at the mail screening facility yesterday that tested positive for cyanide today. A law enforcement official there says there were no injuries or exposure concerns for the person who opened the letter. Investigators identified the man listed on the return address on the envelope as having a long history with the Secret Service dating back to 1995. That history includes an incident in which the man sent a package covered in urine and feces to the Secret Service.
2 people are hospitalized and dozens are unable to go home tonight after a 3-alarm fire at the Lakeside Plaza condos overnight. News 4's Ashley Cullens has been following this story and joins us now with the latest.
Yeah, tonight, Shelby, we now know after a building evaluation, 33 of these condos are uninhabitable and up to 108 have been damaged by this fire. We talked with a few people who live in the building and they say the smoke was so thick they couldn't see, had trouble breathing, and didn't know if they'd be able to get out of the complex. Reno Fire Chief Michael Hernandez says because of those conditions and because some of the residents were using wheelchairs or walkers to get around, about half of the 55 people who were evacuated needed to be rescued.
It was a challenge because the hallways were filled with smoke. We had people hanging off the balconies. This was a tough fire, really early in the morning. A lot of people that were on wheelchairs, on walkers, that simply couldn't get out and needed our assistance. So we effected about 30 rescues.
Now, one of the people who lives in this complex is actually one of our co-workers, Mason Beinstrath, and he says this whole thing has been a wake-up call, and now he's planning to put together an emergency kit, so if anything like this ever happens to him again, he feels more prepared.
And we always talk about the importance of doing that, but how do you figure out what to put in exactly?
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but I do know actually the Red Cross has a list on its website, and so we've posted a link to that on our website. So if you want to make an emergency kit for your home, you can just head to mynews4.com.
All right, probably some good ideas that you don't even think about until you're in that situation. All right, thanks so much, Ashley. Joe?
All right, thanks, guys. More on the story now. The Peppermill is offering up temporary housing for fire victims. Right now, 19 rooms are booked for the night. This morning, 35 people arrived at the Peppermill without a home to return to because of the fire. Red Cross officials are focused on the first 72 hours, making sure that these people have food and a place to stay. The Red Cross will help victims in need throughout the next several weeks as well.
Not just making sure that they have a place for the short term, but we work with them to make sure that they have plans in place, especially for the ones who may have lost the contents of their apartments, to make sure that they can get going again, restart their lives.
Well, also 12 dogs and 3 cats are staying with the owners inside the Peppermill. The SPCA of Northern Nevada is donating food, litter, toys, and blankets for each of the animals.
Carson City authorities are asking for your help tonight. They're looking for answers following the discovery of a shallow grave containing human remains.
And we join News 4's Terry Hendry. She's in Carson City on Lone Mountain where that discovery was made. And Terry, what's the latest there?
Well, Joe and Shelby, investigators are still here tonight. They are combing the area looking for any additional clues. They say that they were notified by this discovery by a hiker. Investigators say that she saw a sneaker attached to a foot sticking out from the earth. The body was found not far off the trail that's frequented by hikers and joggers and the homeless. The trail is located just above the Lone Mountain Cemetery, although it's not a part of the cemetery. It is in the middle of town, but the area where the body was found is secluded because it's on top of the hill and it is an upward climb. Investigators are not saying much. They're still calling this investigation a death investigation.
Well, it hasn't been classified because we don't know, other than there's a human being inside of a shallow grave. Obviously, it's suspicious to us because this is not natural.
Well, again, we don't know much about the body itself. We don't know how long it's been here. The only thing that the assistant sheriff would share with us was that the sneaker found was that of a man's sneaker. Now, authorities are saying that anyone in the Lone Mountain area who may have seen something suspicious, even if it was months ago, to give them a call. Reporting live in Carson City, I'm Terry Hendry. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Terry. Sheriff's officials in Carson City say they are investigating a shooting that happened this morning. Deputies say it happened a little before 11 when shots were fired in the middle of the street near the 1400 block of North Edmonds Drive on the east side of Carson City. Witnesses tell sheriff's officials that a car with 4 men inside pulled up to the middle of the block and someone inside started shooting. No one was hurt, but at least one home was hit. Witnesses say a bullet lodged in an apartment just 6 feet away from a sleeping baby.
Well, it's scary when a bullet possibly lands 6 feet from your grandson, you know, and nothing you can do about it, you know, except hope they get all the bad guys.
Well, 2 men are in custody for obstructing and delaying an officer, and at least 2 more arrests were made on unrelated charges. Officials are searching homes they say might be connected with the shooting.
The Nevada Highway Patrol is looking for a vehicle involved in a hit-and-run crash in Sun Valley Sunday morning. It happened about 4:50 in the morning on Sunday. A small red sedan or small pickup, possibly a Mazda, was traveling northbound on Sun Valley Boulevard when it hit a pedestrian. The vehicle sideswiped the victim on the right side of the car and then took off. The pedestrian was taken to Reno with lacerations and broken bones. This accident is still under investigation. If anyone saw the accident or has information about it, please call the NHP at 688-2500.
Well, it is St. Patrick's Day. A lot of people out celebrating this evening, and we're going to check in now with Chief Meteorologist Brandon Woolley with our first look at the forecast and a nice night ahead for people who want to be out celebrating. Brandon?
Joe, a good-looking evening for sure. Your current temperature on the valley floor at 65, some nice filtered sunshine, westerly sustained wind up to about 16, and a very low relative humidity at just 24% at this hour. The air quality is doing good for the Truckee Meadows, and it should remain that way overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. Current temperature is out there, 81 in Las Vegas, upper 60s in Fallon, and 74 at this hour in Sacramento. Here's a peek at your day planner overnight tonight. Partly cloudy skies down to the lower 40s at 4, and then for tomorrow around the Reno Sparks area, partly cloudy skies, and we could see some isolated to scattered thunderstorms forming over the Sierra. We'll time out those storms coming up on Futurecast in just a couple of minutes. Joe?
All right, thanks, Brandon. A bipartisan group of Nevada senators is introducing a bill legalizing physician-assisted suicide. The measure will allow doctors to prescribe a lethal drug to terminally ill patients. Patients would need to request the procedure and could back out at any time, the way the bill is written. The bill allows healthcare facilities to opt out and prohibits life insurance companies from canceling a policy if a patient decides to end their life. Right now, only Oregon, Washington, and Vermont allow the practice as it stands.
A Nevada Republican who's had a public feud with state wildlife officials is sponsoring a bill that would require a court order to suspend a hunting license. Assemblyman Ira Hansen is sponsoring Assembly Bill 142. The bill eliminates the Nevada Department of Wildlife's demerit point system for suspending or revoking a hunting license and instead authorizes courts to take a license away if a person is convicted of a wildlife-related crime. The measure also sets a 3-year limit on spending or revoking a hunting license.
RTC of Washoe County is offering free bus rides to help provide safe transportation for people out celebrating St. Patrick's Day. All regularly scheduled transit services will be free today from 4 p.m. on up until midnight. On top of that, the downtown circulator bus, the RTC Sierra Spirit, will also operate until midnight. All right, it is St. Patrick's Day. The fun is really getting underway at bars and pubs throughout northern Nevada. In fact, it has been for a while.
That's right. We go live now to News 4's Van 2, who is at one of those Irish pubs with a look at what's happening tonight. Van?
Well, good evening, Joe and Shelby. We're here at Keogh's Pub, Irish Pub in Midtown, where the party is definitely popping up. This entire area is completely full. There's the inside area and the outside area. There's a stage with live music. The beer is definitely flowing, and there's also Brothers Barbecue, where they've added some Irish items to the menu. So definitely a celebration, and for some more than others, I actually want to introduce you to a Reno couple here who have another reason to celebrate. This is Alex and Mallory. Alex and Mallory, tell me what you guys are celebrating today.
We got married today.
Congratulations! So you guys got married. So why St. Patrick's Day for you guys?
Well, that's when my great-grandparents got married, and they had a really long and happy marriage, so I figured it couldn't hurt.
I also found out like a month ago or so that I have great-great-grandparents that were married on St. Patrick's Day as well, so it's a special day.
Excellent. So definitely keeping to the tradition strong. And you guys have your traditional outfits. You want to show it off? Excellent. So come on down. It's a lot of fun here at Keogh. We are celebrating St. Patrick's Day and Mr. and Mrs. Root. So come on down. We're live in Midtown. Van 2 News 4.
All right, another reason to celebrate. Congratulations to them. Well, thanks, Van. Still ahead on News 4 Nightly, cloud seeding's proven to be an effective way to give our winter storms a little more punch, but could drones like this one play a role in the effort soon? A viewer asked about that. I'll tell you what I found out coming up in my Ask Joe segment. Brandon?
Joe, today in Reno, Sparks at 67 degrees, but even warmer high temperatures on the way for the first day of spring on Friday. That's coming up on your 7-day forecast.